Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA from the Black Boule in this action-packed all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. One of my viewers wanted to know why some men don't grow out of their simp phase in adulthood and stay in this simp phase way into their middle age and even wind up growing up to become old men who still remain simps. Now, when it comes to most boys out here during adolescence, they go through what I call a simp phase in my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance. And as these boys wind up in adolescence, this simp phase is a natural stage in life and a natural stage in life because when it comes to these boys, they are basically blank slates as it comes to social interactions with women, and because they are blank slates, they basically have to go through a learning curve where they have to learn how to have positive social interactions with women in order to be able to get the attention of the opposite sex. So when it comes to these adolescent boys, as they're going through their simp phase, this is where they have to deal with their hormones as related to things, as related to their attraction and desire for women. That's one of the obstacles that these boys have to overcome, and that's an obstacle that they have to learn how to navigate through their emotions and be able to, yes, you have feelings for a girl, but you have to learn how to act around a girl in order to express your interest. And again, that part of the whole simp phase is one that has a steep learning curve and one where a lot of boys learn hard lessons as they're out here making their approaches and they're being rejected. And again, this whole part is a part of adolescence that boys have to go through. And when it comes to boys with this simp phase, they not only have to learn how to deal with rejection, but they have to learn how things work as related to social interactions in a courtship situation where they're trying to learn how to approach women and talk to women. And again, this whole simp phase is a steep learning curve, and a lot of times a lot of boys learn through trial and error, and sometimes it's those mistakes that they make that make it where these boys learn hard lessons of what not to do and what isn't effective as related to approaching women. That's some of the things that boys learn during adolescence, and this is a process again that is very painful, and the way that the pain sometimes does get mitigated is when these boys have male figures in their lives, and when they have a male figure in their life like their father who is comfortable with himself, he can sit there and talk to that boy about how things work as related to relationships, and he can also teach him how things work as related to approaching women and talking to women, and he can also teach him how things work as related to how to, again, be able to understand how things work, like learning about rejection and how it takes a lot of no to get to yes, and why you just can't sit here putting women on pedestals. Now, part of this whole simp phase is boys will have crushes and feelings, and this is where the father or other male figures will tell him, yeah, you will have those feelings, but the whole thing is you can't put this girl on a pedestal that you like. You can't go out here and think that you can impress her, because this whole process is going to be one that's a hard lesson, and again, a hard lesson in disappointment, and sometimes the boy has to go through this in order to understand how things work. And when there's a father there to give that boy guidance, he can learn how this works. But when there is no male father or male figure there to teach him how things work for men, what happens to these boys is that they continue on in their simp phase. And again, as they continue on in their simp phase, it's basically because they haven't gotten that education in manhood from a father or an older brother or another male figure in the community. Usually, when that boy doesn't have that male figure to sit down and teach him about how things work as related to relationships, this boy, as he grows from adolescence into adulthood, goes on to become a simp. And again, that's because he's in an emotional state of arrested development because he hasn't gotten those male life skills that will teach him how things work between men and women. Now, the simp phase, it can start again because there is no foundation of him learning that learning curve. And another way that a lot of boys continue on into simping, into adulthood, is because they've received a miseducation from males in the community. This is what I saw going on when I was in junior high school in the 1980s, because there were no fathers or men in the community to teach boys those social skills about how to gain the attention of girls and how to have good social interactions with girls. A lot of these guys basically went on learning things from their single mothers, and as they learned things from their single mothers, what happened to those boys is they basically learned the approaches from women on how to have social interactions with women, and oftentimes look to bully and coerce people to basically have girlfriends and things like and have relationships. And again, these guys didn't learn proper approaches, and when your boys are learning from peers who are ignorant, this is what leads to these boys again getting a miseducation. And when you're learning from your peers, that's not the best place to learn, because these people only know, one, what their mothers told them, and two, what they've learned from media like television and movies and soap operas. So they don't know anything about how things work, because the world works differently for a woman than it does a man. And the only person who can teach a boy about how the world works for men is another man. So a lot of these boys grow up learning from their peers, but they get a miseducation, and sadly, as they're growing older, they get misinformation from their peers, and as they grow into adulthood, this puts them on a road to simping, and that road to simping is based on ideas from their single mothers and institutions like Madison Avenue advertisers and Hollywood movie studios, which basically make the focus of a relationship all about money, and make it all about money because when it comes to these businesses want to make money off the simp, make money off the simp by telling him that he has to have the relationship founded, one, on money, and two, he has to go out here and look to try to impress this woman, giving the female power in the relationship instead of him taking the lead, and has him out here thinking he has to go out here and spend large amounts of money on attachments like leather jackets, expensive cars, and has to spend even more money on things like taking the woman to expensive events, or spending money on taking her to fancy restaurants, or buying her expensive gifts. That's what they want to program into the mind of the simp in adolescence, to turn him into a trick into an adulthood. And the goal is to keep the simp spending until he goes out here and basically winds up into debt, all in an effort to get the attention of women. But all of that is misinformation given to the boy, because his peers are following the paradigm of the single mother. And again, this is what puts the boy on a road to simping into adolescence, and has him again miseducated into believing that he's got to spend lots of money and go out here in a place where he's out here thinking he's got to have money to impress women. He's got to have lots of luxury cars. He's got to even go out here with the car with the booming system when I was growing up, thinking that all of this is going to get the attention of women, but not really showing how he can be a leader as a man. And that's why, again, a lot of these guys grow into simps into adulthood, because they've never had a man to teach them how things actually work in the social marketplace, and how things work as related to a good relationship with a woman. Now, the third way a guy winds up on the road to becoming a simp into adulthood is because that guy basically has seen how these education and these approaches basically have gotten him results. Now, what really keeps a lot of guys into simps into adulthood is the fact that they continue to see themselves being rewarded with phone numbers from women and dates with women and even opportunities to go out here and get that woman to drop the skid mark jockey thong and getting a taste of the atomic waste from the special place. That's what oftentimes motivates a lot of boys to continue on into being simps into their adulthood and their old age, because usually when boys are in their simp phase in adolescence and they get that first rejection, they learn hard lessons about how money doesn't get the attention of women, and sometimes when they get cold dissed by that first girl they had a crush on, they learn that these approaches don't work. And when they learn that these approaches don't work, what these boys do is then go out here and look to talk to people like their fathers or older brothers or other men to learn how things work. Or what they do is again find a man in the community to go talk to learn how things actually work, or some boys basically learn how to adapt their approach and they start seeing what works. So usually when those boys have that traumatic experience, that basically motivates them to go try something different. But when a simp sees himself getting that phone number, he basically thinks that, oh, this way is working, so he's going to continue on doing this because he's gone out here, he's opened up his wallet, and he's seen himself get that girl to say yes. And as he's seen that girl go out here and say yes to his money, this basically allows him to see in his mind that, yeah, this approach is working. And as he's getting these approaches to work, he's going to continue to do what works, because when it comes to a simp, if he sees that his money is getting him the girls that he wants, and in some cases getting him the results that he wants, such as sexual access and ability to again get social currency with other men, that's going to keep him motivated in looking to continue to approach women in the same way. And that's why these guys continue to be simps in their older age, because they're getting the attention and they're getting the results that they want. And again, as they're getting those results that they want, that's what motivates a guy to continue simping in his old age, because he doesn't have a motivation to learn to do anything different, doesn't have a motivation to learn how to improve or do better. He's basically, again, getting acceptance as related to substandard, and people are giving him what he wants. He doesn't want to again raise his bar, because he's getting what he wants at the bottom with this low-hanging fruit. And again, as long as he's getting some fruit from the bottom, he doesn't care to raise his standards. So this is why guys will be out here simping in their old age, because they're basically again at the bottom with the low-hanging fruit. And since the female predators are giving him phone numbers and the female predators are getting rewarded by his simping, he's basically again continuing to be motivated to continue going out here and pursuing these kinds of women. And that basically enables these women to continue on with this kind of, again, ratchet behavior, because the simp enables that behavior because he's getting what he wants, and the female predators at the bottom are getting what they want. And again, this is why these men are basically stuck in that phase of arrested development and cannot grow up to become men, because when it comes to boys, again, the simp phase is a part of adolescence. Every teenage boy has to experience. It's one he has to eventually grow out of, and usually with teenage boys, they grow out of that phase by the time they're about 15, 16 years old. Usually from about 12 to 14, they've had the bad experiences as related to hearing the rejections And as they've had these bad experiences, what this does is teach them, okay, these approaches ain't working. I gotta do something different, and I gotta do something different in order to survive. Because in order to be able to have that successful relationship, you just can't go out here opening up a wallet or going out here taking out some money, because eventually, again, you're not going to attract quality women. You're only going to attract female predators who look to prey on men and look to take whatever they have as related to resources. And that's the thing that simps don't understand, but men start to understand, because they see these girls who are out here with the guys out here and start to take a critical look at things and say, hey, the only guys she's dealing with are guys who are drug dealers and gang members, again, low-life guys. And again, she's doing that in her hypergamy because she thinks short-term these guys have resources. And again, this is not a woman they can work with, but the simp will go out here and continue to be dealing with women who are low-hanging fruit, basically because he has low self-confidence and low self-esteem, and he's looking for easy and doesn't want to improve. And he doesn't want to improve because he doesn't want to do the hard work of going through that learning curve. He doesn't want to go through the pain of that learning curve. And that's why this guy remains in a state of arrested development and does not grow into full manhood or actualize his potential as a man, and does not find the women who could be suitable helpmeets to help him out. No, he can't find that woman who wants to help him out because he basically doesn't want to help himself. And since he doesn't want to help himself by taking charge in his life, he can't find a woman who wants to follow behind him because he's so busy following behind female predators, because he's looking for an easy yes instead of looking to overcome his own issues and overcome all of the pain from the rejections. Because what he doesn't understand is that the pain from the rejections, that's going to help you grow into manhood. And again, all of this is going to help you grow to become a stronger man. But the simp doesn't want to become strong. He wants to be cool, just like females who want to get social currency. And again, what really messes the simp up is he doesn't want to come out of adolescence. He'd rather grow old than grow up, because growing up means taking responsibility for yourself, and it means taking accountability for yourself, realizing that you are responsible for yourself. Excuse me. And when it comes down to simps, they basically, again, don't want to be responsible, and they're thinking that somebody else can, again, carry their load. And again, this is why these men, again, are usually stuck in codependent relationships with women where they give power to women. And again, these guys don't want to grow up. They don't want to grow up to become men. They just rather grow old. And this is why these guys wind up in a vicious cycle of getting played after woman all throughout their lives, because these guys basically want to stay boys and never want to grow up to become actualized men. Now, this was a video requested by one of my viewers, and if you want to request a video, you can drop a minimum of $15 to the PayPal or the Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. And if I know something about that subject, I will make that video for you. And if you want to learn how to break out of the simp paradigm and learn how to become on the road to actualize manhood, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping: Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping: Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Illuminati. A man who rules the world takes on the head of the global elite in this all-new action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Illuminati in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteem: Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this action-packed, all-new Esteem series adventure. Get your copy of Esteem: Horror in the Hamptons in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteem: Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this action-packed, all-new Esteem series adventure. Get your copy of Esteem, Horror in the Hamptons in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.